Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes. This is episode 204 for all those who are counting. And this episode is going to focus on all you entrepreneurs that don't know how to connect the dots. And we'll explain that a little bit more as I introduce my guest, Shasta Broadus. And I want to thank you for being here. And this is going to be a great interview.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. It's a pleasure.
I jumped on your website earlier and I was looking at all the things that you do and it's for the benefit of entrepreneurs. And
Absolutely.
just like this podcast, I created this for entrepreneurs. This is not something I make money on. This is something that I do out of the goodness of my heart to educate people. And I think that you have that same dedication because you created these events where it helps entrepreneurs connect those dots so that they can kind of meet the people they need to meet and
Absolutely.
get to where they want to go.
That's right. That's right. And so, helping people get into the room, right, with people that they need to meet.
Hmm.
As a consultant, I found that it was better for me and my clients to have relationships with people that we were networking with.
Right.
That helps to close the deals faster, right? And it helps to have that warm lead where people are not as uncomfortable. So it's like, yeah, I'm here because Shasta invited me. Oh yeah, you know Shasta, okay, blah blah blah. And the people that know me, they know who I am and what I'm about. So that makes people more comfortable. And so
Yeah.
that's how I operate
Usually,
my business.
usually when people say, "Oh yeah, Rob sent me," they always get the remark, "Oh, I'm sorry."
I thought you was gonna say something good.
I'm very sarcastic, so that's how it
I
is.
know, I noticed that.
But it's I go to a lot of events, and a lot of times, you know, I don't I don't actually go into the rooms where people are speaking. I go out in the hallways, I meet people, I introduce myself, I shake their hand. You know, I don't even get their business cards anymore because I don't have a business card. I haven't had one
Me
in 10
neither.
years. I give people my books,
See,
and if they know how to read, that's great. That's a plus, and they're more inclined to, flip through the
beautiful.
pages. And if they laugh or, you know, the ones that kind of relate to me, they love sarcasm. They love that banter and that wit.
Yes,
Those who don't like it, it's kind of like rejection marketing. They'll just go
yes.
away.
Get on my way.
Right. And
I'll go
and
ahead and
so
vet you out.
right. So, meeting people in the hallways and in between, you know, uh, talks like that, I seem to get better types of clientele,
I would agree.
and when I go to these networking events where there's hundreds of people there, which I don't like that many people. It just overwhelms me. Um, I tend to walk into the noisiest conversations, and sometimes I do it on purpose. I use a term called personality disruption
Okay.
because I walk in with my sarcasm and they're like, so they either want to throat punch me or they want to say, "Hey, Rob, what's your deal? I
That's
want to
right.
learn more about you."
That's right.
And it doesn't always work, but the clients that I end up picking up from doing that are usually long-lasting clients that you know. I
Well,
guess it's my way of connecting those dots because I usually skip a lot of steps, but
I think the thing that you're pointing out is that you're being authentic, right?
Mhm.
And you're being yourself. And
Right.
I think that most people, even when they're starting to get into entrepreneurship, they really haven't found themselves,
Mhm.
right? So they don't really know how to show up. They're kind
Right.
of trying to still figure that out. And so that was another thing as a consultant that I wanted to help business owners with because it's best to be genuine and it is best to be authentic so you can get the right people to work with.
Yeah, I mean, two of the words that I think really popped out in the one video I saw of you was collaborate and reciprocate. And I
I'm so
think
glad
that
you brought that up. Thank you.
I think that entrepreneurs forget those two terms or don't know how to use them effectively to grow their business or their network.
That's exactly right. So that's pretty much the foundation that I'm building the network on is group economics. And that is the key to reciprocate, collaborate, but also cooperate.
Mm,
A lot of business owners really don't understand, how taxing it is to build a business and work with people. I mean, it is what it is. We're all different and we come from different backgrounds and we communicate differently, but to be able to cooperate with each other to get to the end goal, right?
Right.
So that we can execute and we can have those results. So I'm
Yeah,
helping
and
others build.
cooperation is one of those ego things. You gotta let it go.
You are my person.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that for a long time. It's like either do it my way or the highway, and it doesn't always work because people have their own way of doing things, and you got to let them do it.
And you have to be okay because done is better than perfect,
Yeah,
and when you're getting to where you're trying to get to and you haven't actually all the way made it yet, you just got to keep doing the things that need to be done
right.
so that you can get where you're trying to go. And I think people get held up there, right, because
Yeah,
they want
and
perfection.
I'm so glad that you said done is better than perfect, and it's one of those things where I always tell people, look, good is good enough. Just get your product out there, get your service out there, start telling people what you can do. It's never going to be
Absolutely.
perfect. I mean, look
And
at
when you get the money, you can afford to hire people to
right,
be on them for perfect, right?
right. Well, look at these phones. I mean, you would think that these are be perfect now, but this is what. Well, mine is the iPhone 12, so you know that there's
Okay.
12
12
versions already.
series, that's right.
And so none of them are perfect. They always give you updates, and they're constantly expanding their service. And so, it was good enough to get it out there to start making money.
That's right.
I like the people that say, well, I don't want to do anything until my product is perfect. I
You
guess you're
can't think
never going to
that.
start a business because it's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And I think that that really is a confidence thing and a self-esteem issue.
Right.
My degree is in psychology. And so as a consultant, I have all these various skills that I'm able to utilize to really help people show up as their best self. Because at the end of the day, that's what we need from leadership, right? You're showing up as your best self so that people in your organization can learn how to show up as their best self as well. So,
And as we're on this call, because she's in the psychology and everything, she's been analyzing me. She knows all my flaws.
I think I caught you when I forgot what I said on my post. I was doing some kind of little wimpy banter and I commented saying that I enjoy mental sparring. And I do. I feel that most people get emotional when it's time to, go back and forth with each other.
Yeah,
But I think that that's how you end up being more quick witted, and obviously more accepting,
yeah,
to be able to better understand.
yeah. And social media is one of those areas I think that people get hung up on when it comes to social banter. They don't understand my sarcasm. I've been shut down a few times by Facebook because the
Wait, you've been
robots.
shut down on Facebook? You've been
Oh,
shut down on Facebook?
yeah.
I want to know how you get shut down because I haven't been shut down yet.
Well, when you say that you're going to throat punch somebody based on their comments,
Okay.
Facebook doesn't take that very kindly, even though you
Okay.
were joking.
That's right.
You
That's
know.
right. Okay. Okay.
So
Because I
yeah,
mean, it's obviously they're not. I mean, it's a computer, right? And they're, like you're saying, it's a bot. So essentially, they're not there for context, or they're
right,
not there for the. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's and a lot of fights occur on social that don't really need. I mean, if you were having the same conversation in real life, you're not going to act the way you act because people are right in front of your.
So I'm so glad you brought that up too, because that's one of the things that I help, my clients with as well, is learning how to show up online and offline.
Mhm.
Everything doesn't necessarily need an engagement or an interaction, right?
Right.
And so, like, once you learn how to be purposeful and use your energy for things that you actually want
Hmm.
to happen, I think people are able to see that. But helping them be confident online, it's all
Yeah.
still coming from confidence, right? And self esteem, so that they can be received, because it's vanity at this point, right? Everybody's showing up because they want to be liked and they want followers, but there's a fine line between being too overly, wanting to be accepted or seen,
Right.
right?
Well,
For the
and
wrong reasons.
right, and it goes back to our authentic self, our personality. When I started sharing more of my sarcastic stories, and people would meet me in real life, they would say, "Wow, you're the same as you are on social.
Yes,
There's no
yes,
difference."
yes.
And I think that really traumatized them, so they don't talk to me. But no, the thing is though, I think that you really need to be the same, and there's a lot of people that I've listened to them speak at events. I've watched what they do on social, and then they get off a stage or they get off a social, and you meet them in real person, and you're like, I don't want to ever be in the same area as these people ever again.
It's
It's
so
just totally
true.
different.
It's so true, and I feel like this is like the most pivotal time to help people figure that thin line out,
Hmm.
on how to be their most authentic self and relate to people and connect with people, but for the right reasons,
Hmm.
and really learning how to build business from leading from the front and not from the back. And I
Right.
feel like that's what a lot of people are getting caught up on, trying to lead from the back when you really need to be leading from the front.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell me about these events that you do, because, I kind of got the idea from watching. I didn't watch the whole video because
Okay, okay.
it's pretty long,
Hmm.
but
Wait.
anybody,
Okay, so how many seconds did you get through? Because we know the attention span is what, 15 or 20, and I think that video might be 3 minutes.
yeah, I think you gave me more than 15 seconds there. So,
Okay, okay.
no, I did. I think I watched half of it,
Okay,
but
good,
yeah,
good.
I have the attention span of a gnat. So yeah, you
Well,
gotta.
that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to ask because that is
And the
like
funny
a
thing is that I wrote 30 some books, and yet people like, Rob, you got like ADD or something. You're all over the place.
listen, I think most entrepreneurs are to a certain extent, but we learn how to kind of get into the groove of
Right.
certain, projects, right? And so with my events, it's social because we do want to teach people how to be social and interact and engage, but purposefully,
Hmm.
right? Purposefully. It's like not just because we're there to hang out and
Right.
we're there to have drinks and eat and talk about what? Nothing. No, we have things to talk about. We have people to help, and we have things to do. And you need to get into the room with those same type of people because that's how opportunities are created, And so with my events, they're normally about 20 to maybe 50 people, depending on who's speaking, and who's showing up. But at the end of the day, it's always a good vibe because nobody does cold leads anymore. Everybody wants warm, and so it's a warm, reception and people are able to connect easier that way.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about BNI before, and
Oh, here
BNI
you
has its,
go. Here you go.
and it has its purpose. But the thing is that I went to a few meetings, 10 years ago. Maybe things have changed, but by the way I talk to people, I don't think it has. You go there, you're forced to give, uh,
The
referrals,
referral, the lead,
whether,
yes.
yeah, regardless of whether it's warm or cold. Usually it's a cold, and you get this referral. Oh, I should call Mrs. Jones, see what she needs. Mrs. Jones has no idea what's going on. You just blindsided her, and then you're like, well, great, I just wasted more time.
And so that's part of what my consulting and coaching helps with because everybody doesn't need to be pitched or sold anything. People need
Mm.
to be built relationships with.
Right.
And so we call each other to introduce ourselves.
Mhm.
So it's not because I'm trying to sell you my product or service. It's really because maybe we have the same clientele and I should know who you are and what you do
Right.
because my client may need you at a certain point of time. And
Mhm.
so I'm culture creating and culture building because that's what needs to happen, right? And that's what entrepreneurship is really all about.
I like that term, culture creating, and if you ever gone to Walt Disney World, everything is about the culture that you get when you walk in there. It's everything is themed out. So when you walk in, it's like, wow. And so with this one, this term culture creating, you're creating that culture that you want people to come in and feel not only like, know, and trust, but feel safe with you.
That's right. And feel confident that they can grow
Yeah.
because they see other people that are growing,
Hmm.
and the organizational structure is shifting. We see that with the great resignation and we see that corporate doesn't really know how to connect with their employees. And
Right.
so who is going to bridge the gap? Capital stewardship, because at the end of the day, we still need them. They have the dollars
Yeah.
and they need help learning how to connect with the people. And
Yeah.
so that's what, I want to be a part of. And I want to, talk to people like you that get it because at the end of the day, we have to leverage each other so that we can get there and make the difference, right?
I don't get it. I'm just been
Yeah,
fake. I've been faking it the whole 20 years.
he got it. He's locked in.
Yeah, I can't escape now. done.
But no, that's really what it's about. And I was glad that we connected on Facebook because I don't market on there.
Yeah.
I just be myself. I just show up. I do witty banter as well. I make funny comments. I talk a little bit of mess, but I also am positive.
Yeah.
And when people go through my page, that's what they say. You're so positive,
Yeah.
And those are the people that reach out to me, and that's how I get closed deals.
Yeah.
Because they're like my divine appointment, essentially.
Right. And when Facebook first came out, I think every other day I was pommeling people with my ads. Buy me, buy me, buy. And people are like, Rob, shut the hell. And then over the years, I've kind of like, I don't really care what they want. This is what I'm going to share out. And it was just all these sarcastic stories, and people were like, Rob, I need to buy from you.
Yes.
And
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. So it was like, I'm just sharing, and it goes back to reciprocating. I'm giving of myself freely.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, wow, that's just great, Rob. I'm going to in turn hire you and give you money, which
that's exactly right.
is always good.
That's exactly right. And when people like you, they want to work with you, right? And those are the type of people in the relationships that I try to help people understand. When people like you, they want to work with you. And what that looks like is working with you in whatever capacity and flexibility that is, because they like you, And so we all don't want those clients or customers that are riding us, getting on our nerves, bothering us. Nobody wants to interact with those type of people.
Oh, and I have 5+ books of Rob verses that are all dealing with people that drive me crazy. Wow, actually.
And nobody wants to deal with that.
Yeah.
And so trying to help people understand, this is how you get the ideal client and customer by being your authentic and genuine self, like you started the conversation out.
Yeah. Now, one of the conversations that we had on social was about referrals, referral rewards.
Yes.
And, I used to do referral rewards, and then I stopped. And then, a client had contacted me. I had did small work for them, and they referred me to another client that I ended up doing a lot of work for. And I guess they either got jealous of the fact that I was end up more money than they were off this deal. But 2 years into the thing, they say, hey, Rob, I want that referral reward bonus. What? We never discussed it. And it ended up, they wanted thousands of dollars off this thing. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
And I said, look, I'll give you, a fraction of that. Here it is. And they said no. And they started bad mouthing me, and it got back to the client, and the client ended up firing us. And so I ended up.
We don't tolerate that in my network.
I ended up losing a $75,000 a year account. And, I was upset. And I was trying to figure out what was the justification of this. But, it turned out 2 weeks later, I ended up replacing that client anyway with an almost equally amount. And, so I was happy. But I'm like, yeah, but I could have had 2 accounts.
Right. I mean, so there's always a catch-22 and the silver lining, right? When you're letting go, because you had to let go. You could have held on to that situation and been upset and held on to that energy, but you let go and you were able to receive something better, right?
Yeah.
But being able to help people understand that aspect of being able to reciprocate, right, and do referrals, I feel like that's the missing part of group economics and helping people understand how to really build a network. Everybody knows it's about who not necessarily what but if everybody's broke, that's not good.
Right.
If you can't call them for no money, that's not good. Or opportunity, that's not good.
In my past life, I had a carpet cleaning business, and I share a lot of those stories out in these podcasts, and especially in my books. But I used to just give a simple referral reward of $20. I just kept it simple. Hey, if they become a client, I'll give you $20. And people would love that because they knew exactly what they were getting. There was no percentages, and I never really liked percentages because then the person could calculate how much that I was making off the other person.
That's so true. That's so true.
I've always kept it, when I had the cleaning business, I always kept it, hey, we're just going to keep it simple. It's a $20 referral reward and not thousands of dollars. That's not how it works.
That's so true. I mean, I just feel like to keep people motivated and to keep people in good, relations when people are making money, to
Hmm.
keep people paid, you should refer,
Yeah.
but that should be an expectation on the front end of the relationship that if I'm
Hmm.
referring business, this is how I can refer. I can either
Right.
give you a dollar amount, I can give you a discount, I can, help you in your business in some type of way. Like, what is the equitable exchange?
Hmm.
Because everybody's needs need to be met,
Yeah.
and so creating those win-win situations, and obviously dollar amount sometimes is not always what it's about.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, probably over the last 3 years, if I refer somebody to somebody, I don't expect anything back. It's just how I am. But there are people that have created businesses that, hey, if I connect this person to this person, I want something in return. Well, you know, that's fine. You can do that. That's your business. Just for me, it was, I just always, it was, hey, have at it. Whatever money you make, and I don't need the referral
Need
reward.
anything kickback? Yeah, I mean, and no, you when you're doing something to be nice and you're just being helpful, obviously you don't need that.
Right.
But then I think that people who are appreciative and who just have a reciprocal nature, they're automatically going to want to give back and give
Hmm.
anyways, right?
Yeah.
And so, being a cultural creator and somebody that wants to change, the dynamics of how we relationship build, we have to impart some things into the culture. It's like policies and procedures at the end of
Right.
the day. And that's what I want to be able to have for my network of business owners and clients, because that's where we're going. People don't want to be a part of an organization anymore. They want to be a part of a network, right?
Hmm.
And they want to be a part of a network that's profitable,
Right.
and capital stewardship is going to be able to have those data points and numbers for people to say, I want to be a part of this because I know that when I join in, I'm going to start making money.
Right.
I'm going to be supported, because that's what entrepreneurs really want. They want
Hmm.
support.
Yeah. And how do know if the person's going to be right for your network?
So I do have a vetting process,
No
honestly.
sarcastic people.
No, honestly, I just like for people to show up as themselves, right?
Right.
I'm genuine already. I'm already nice. I'm already ready to give. And I want to see how you're going to be.
Hmm.
I'm already ready. So if it's going to be reciprocal and you care and you like what I'm talking about and what I'm doing, it's just going to happen automatically because you're saying that you want to work with me. Remember the
Right.
comment? If people want to work with you, they work with you.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's just like, okay, this seems like a good fit. You're doing for me, I'm doing for you.
Hmm.
We want to work together. It's easy at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
Nobody's just doing lip service, they're actually doing.
And I can tell you right now, based on experience, 90% of the business that I get is from referrals. 10% is probably from people seeing me on social somewhere.
Yep.
But those clients who have stuck with me for years and years and
Yep.
years, it's all from referrals because they're getting a referral from somebody they trust.
Trust.
You know.
And so that's what my process as a consultant, that's really what's going on within my partners and my clients. And then I have hybrid too, where they are like a partner and a client.
Hmm.
But that's what it is. They trust me. And I'm not referring business because to anybody that I haven't been through their process,
Right.
right? Because everybody wants to know what the process is like. How
Hmm.
long is the process? How long is it going to take? How good is their customer service? Like, what does it look like? And I want to be able to genuinely, as a salesperson and as a leader, tell them what the process is like so that they can feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a need and then you filled it and you've created this organization now and you're helping so many people. It's just phenomenal.
And I want you to join me. I want you to join me in helping others. I noticed that when we first, I sent you my website and you saw that there were some things that could be better. And I like that because at
Yeah,
the end
my
of the
face
day,
isn't on it.
I do want to be better and I want to be around other people who can always help each other be better, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what, this life is about. And
Yeah.
so just leading by example and connecting with people like you, where it's just a genuine, honest connection. I think I'm in my 7th year of entrepreneurship, and I
Wow.
finally have figured out how it is when people want to work with you. They do for you,
I, I,
and
I'm I'm 27 years into my entrepreneurship and I haven't figured any of it out yet. It's just, yeah.
you got some things figured out. Because I mean, how could some people say they've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, but they're still working corporate? And I'm just like,
Mm,
uh.
no, I turned 53 in a few days, and I was uh, I was 25 when I became a full-time entrepreneur, and I've never looked back. And
Nice.
there have been days where I wanted to quit. There have been days where I just said, I got to go work for someone else. And then, I look at whether it's the pay or the benefits or the hours, and I'm thinking, there's no way I would last 5 minutes in that job. And
So true.
so, I've over the years, I've self-taught myself a lot of things. I've deferred to other people to teach me stuff, and then when I started writing books and sharing my experiences out with people, it just exploded, and everybody's like, Rob, I want your help. At first it became overwhelming
Yes.
because my pay went from, this to way up here, and I'm like,
Oh, that's the part.
so,
But some people want that and they don't even want to delegate. They want to hog all the money. They want
yeah,
all the money.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
I have a team of great people that help me out, and I couldn't do it without a team, and I couldn't do it without a network.
Let's
And
talk about that because that's where entrepreneurs, if they don't get their interpersonal skills together, they're not going to succeed, you
yeah,
know?
when and I started learning a lot of this stuff when I had the cleaning business. I had the cleaning business from 1995 to 2014, but I
Mhm.
started a consulting business in 2000. So I overlapped a bunch of them of years, and I had to be patient. I had to, because none of my employees will ever do the things that I do in the manner that I do them. And so I have to give them not
Grace.
only a chance to learn what I do, but to do it in their way, because their way could be better for them, you know. And it was
And
hard for
done
me.
is better than perfect. You just want it done.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult at first because it's like, damn, you're not doing it my way. You're not done yet. What the heck? I gave this assignment to you 5 minutes ago. You should be done already. 3 hours later, they're still putzing through, but after a while, they learn how to do it faster and they get better, and soon they're faster than me. And I'm like, what? You're done already? I got to give you more work? Yeah. So,
People do that.
and so a lot of my team members focus on their core stuff. Like I have Paul, he focuses on web building, and that's all he does. And then
Mhm.
I have Jason, who does all my Google ad stuff. That's all he does,
Mm.
and by doing it that way, I don't have to worry about it. I can trust him to get it done. And I'm just kind of the conductor of the circus.
Yeah, somebody called me the quarterback the other day, and I was just like, yeah, like I'm helping them run plays. Well, I give them the play, and then I help them run the play, right? Because they may need connections or resources,
Hmm.
direction, strategy. I like all of that type of stuff. And so some people are not planners, they just like to do.
Right.
And, we have to know what type of CEO we are at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm a lazy one.
You're just pointing it out. Well, you built it already now, so
I
you got
built it.
enough business and they
Well,
need work.
and and I've shared this before on other episodes, is that I've created this business to fund my personal life, not my personal life to fund my business. And so I can't work 12 hours in my business anymore. It's too exhausting. So I tone it down to about 4 hours a day. And if I don't get done what I need to get done, the next day awaits. But
So
by
true.
by by bringing it down to 4 to 5 hours, I can hyper focus, get the stuff done, and then walk away and know that at the end of the day,
Yep.
I don't have to worry about it.
That's exactly right. And that's actually kind of how my day is structured. Like a lot of people always say, it seems like you're always working. And I probably always say that I'm working because I'm not going to say I'm not doing anything, you know, you know, but my work is definitely in spurts
Hmm.
of, creativity, energy, thoughts, and things of that nature. And when I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of taking time to myself.
right. And everybody says, well, Rob, you're everywhere on the internet. I am, but I also use systems and programs. So I program a lot of stuff in to go out certain times of the day. I walk away. Computer's doing all the work. It looks like I'm everywhere, but I'm not.
What are you using for your
I use a
system?
program called Social Bee, which does all my social postings. And now when I bought it as a lifetime
Membership.
thing, and it got it really cheap. And I think now it's, I don't know, $100 a month or something,
Okay.
which I don't pay that. But
Right,
even at
right.
$100 a month, you got to factor this in. If it was able to post everything that you wanted it to post in the time that you wanted it to post, for me, it's saving me 20 hours a week. But I have all my client stuff programmed into it too. But even
That's
if it
right.
was able to save you 5 hours a week, that's 20 hours a month. Isn't it worth paying $100 for?
Well, some people still don't realize that their time is that valuable. They don't
Right.
really have anything to do, I guess. So it's kind of like they still feel like I would rather just spend my time than spend the money.
Yeah.
But I'm always ready to spend the money. I like paying people.
Yeah.
That's actually my mantra is I like to pay people. It
Well,
feels
yeah.
good. I like helping others, right? That helps their family,
Mhm.
and I want other people to feel good paying me.
Right. And when I look at you, and I'm like, wow, you're paying this person, this person, this, you're feeding the community, not just one person, but you're feeding the community. And that's what it's all about. In my book, No Experience Necessary, it teaches elderly, not elderly, oh, I'm elderly, those over 50, how to use social media to build their legacy. Because
Mm.
usually the younger generation doesn't care about legacy. They care about the immediate sale. They can go out and buy another Xbox or whatever. When we get to a certain age, we're thinking about the community. We're thinking about what we're going to leave behind. We're thinking about, that legacy and the next generation. And
It came early for me because I came out of financial services. So that was my me growing up in
Mhm.
financial services. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this stuff is so important. Why aren't people taking life seriously?
Yeah,
I don't want to wait because
and
it's
it's
really either pay now or pay later,
right. And the pandemic didn't help because people were in panic mode. Now they're starting to get over that. They're like, oh, great, I got this job. I can spend money again. I can do this. But why don't you think long term? Invest that money, because for me, I want to retire shortly, but and I need to know that there's money going to be there. I'll probably always be an entrepreneur,
Yep.
but
Yep.
in what capacity, I still need to have income coming in.
That's exactly right. And I think people forget that retirement isn't an age, it is an income. And you need
Right.
to know what type of lifestyle that you want to live.
Yeah.
And more recently, I've been kind of getting some information about, these new or the older generation baby boomers. They're living on cruise ships, for their retirement. And I mean, it's so savage. It's like very smart because how much does it travel to, on the cruise ship, 3,500 for the year or something like that? And their social security is only 1,200,
Yeah.
a month.
Right. Well, I read that a gentleman, he's in his 70s, was spending all his life at Holiday Inns because he would go from one Holiday Inn to the next, and it was like $100 a night, and you get free breakfast and free weight
Yes.
room, and
Yes.
and they interviewed him, and they said, why do you do this? He said, because it's cheaper than going into a retirement home, and I get clean sheets, I get this,
Yeah.
I get points, so after so many stays, I get a free stay, and he had it
He
all
had it
figured
figured
out.
out.
Hmm.
Yes, and that's what you have to do with your money. And I think a lot of Americans don't really know how to think, in that capacity, right?
Hmm.
To figure out how to make their money stretch or make it last. We're in like super inflation right now.
Oh, yeah.
Um, super inflation. One of my goals for my network is to get everybody to making $10,000 a month.
Hmm.
That's really like pennies, honestly,
Yeah.
but people are not doing that on their own yet. And
Right.
so, if I can help so many people get to $10,000 a month, that's sustainable for a lot of people.
Hmm.
To be able to at least give them an edge
Right.
to do something more.
Yeah, because if
So
you look at the average person working a job, they might make $2,500 a month, and
yes,
it's pitiful. But an average entrepreneur should be making 4 times that amount because they got to pay taxes and everything else. But ideally, they should be able to get their business to the $20,000 mark, because
yes,
then they're at least making a comfortable living that they don't have to worry about debt. They don't have to worry about a lot of things.
That's right.
And I know for me personally, when I got rid of all the debt that I had, now I pay off my credit cards at the end of
Every
every
month.
month.
That's right. That's
But
right.
there was 30, $40,000 hanging over my head. I was always stressed. And I said,
Hmm.
this is unbelievable. And within 1 year, I said, look, I have a date. I'm going to pay this off. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And the jobs just started coming in.
Coming in.
I paid everything out off, and now I have a huge network. I can't say network, but I have a huge bank
Yes.
account now that I don't have to worry about money like I used to.
Used to.
You
I
know,
want to help people with that. That's what being a better steward of your capital is really all about, not having to worry about money,
right,
you know, and essentially wanting to be able to help people realize, yeah, lower your debt so you can surplus.
right.
It's just basic economics, right?
Well, and the thing is when you have little to no debt, or you've paid off your debt, your credit score is going to go higher, which means that you're
More
no
buying
longer a
power.
credit risk. And
Yes,
they're going to, hey, banks are going to say, do you need another car? Do you need this? Do you need that? And it's all great to say, yeah, I want to
yeah,
get all those things,
that's right.
but you still need to be disciplined in how you use that money.
Absolutely. And so that's why we want to have the network that we're cultivating, because there's people that want to just be in the know.
Hmm.
We're going to treat our network like the game telephone. Okay. If you're talking to somebody in our network, you're going to know what to do with your life,
Right.
because your life is your business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we want to be around people who understand that.
Yeah. And I like that because your network also believes in accountability, and they're going to hold the members accountable for the actions that they take, for the referrals that they give, and and
That's
and for,
right.
for the community that they invest in. And
That's
and I,
right.
to me, that's the ultimate network right there.
So we do have a handbook, I do have policies and procedures, but it's actually productivity and prosperity, because those are really the actions that you have to take to get, through the process
One
to
of the
have productivity and prosperity.
one of the rules in the handbook, you must have nice hair.
Oh, you like my hair? I'm actually on my way to get my hair done. But no, we just want people to have good values, and we
Right.
want to have people that want to genuinely help others. No ego here. I don't work with people who are in their ego. It's very difficult for me. You don't really want to be your best self if you're operating out of ego,
Right. And
and
I can be a little forceful and tell people, hey, look, based on experience, this is what I know will work, what won't work, and why I don't think it's going to work for you at this moment. But I can't have my ego say, look, absolutely not, don't do this,
that's
because
right.
they're going to do it anyway.
And just giving people grace, that's really what it is, giving people grace, because we're not perfect, and everybody's still learning business etiquette and business acumen. We are still learning real business principles. And so, when you don't have the capacity to hire the corporations that have it all down pat and polished to have your stuff click click clacking,
Right.
you have to be able to give people grace, especially upcoming entrepreneurs that are just trying to figure it out. They don't necessarily have a process yet. They just like doing what they do,
Hmm.
and they need to pay their family.
Yeah.
So, we want to be able to help them with that.
Well, I'm glad you brought family up, because family always comes first, and I've given up a lot of events I could have gone
Opportunities, yeah.
to, opportunities, because family always came first. And I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs that'll say, no, business comes first. No, family always
Mm.
comes first, because the
Well,
opportunity will always present itself later down the road, even if you miss something.
I'm glad you said that, because why do people start a business? And those are the type of people that I want to work with. I started this business for my family. So
Right.
obviously my family is going to come first,
Hmm.
because this is for them and their legacy and
Right.
for them to have something. And so that's another thing, being with people who have purpose in their business.
Hmm.
I can't work with people who don't have purpose. They don't have a mission. They don't have a vision. I just cannot.
Right. Yeah.
It
And
doesn't
and
work.
right. And I like to work with entrepreneurs who understand it's a long game. Nothing happens right away. You could say, well, I just started this business and I'm going to make $1 million. No, you're not. Stop thinking that way. It takes time. It's gradual.
It is gradual.
Unless you went on a game show and won all this money, it's not going to happen right.
Right. Or you're doing scratch offs. It's
Yeah.
not,
and
you
It just,
know.
and all these people that get into business to hope that one day they're gonna go to the store and get a lottery ticket and win millions. That doesn't work either. Create your own luck.
Create your own luck, and that's by showing up and being ready. There's so many things entrepreneurs need to do to practice, right? So that when they get opportunities, they'll be ready for them, and so we want to create that culture as well, to be able to help cultivate that so that when the opportunities come, you've been with us, we have you ready, to give you that opportunity so you don't squander it or mess it up or make anybody look bad.
So how do people find you? Where do they go?
Capitalstewardship.org. You can find me on Instagram at Capital Stewardship. I love LinkedIn. My business has grown on LinkedIn. I always tell people, if you're ready to play for real, go to LinkedIn. That's where you're going to really meet some real serious business professionals and CEOs to do business with. And so Capital Stewardship on LinkedIn, Shasta Broadus. And, you can catch me networking every fourth Friday.
And that's what makes Shasta an e-hero. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. But I really like that you said, LinkedIn is where you go to play. Because honestly, I think I get more business off LinkedIn than I do on Facebook now.
Me too. I just post on Facebook because that's where people go when they want to look and see what type of person that you are. So I show up positive so that they know I'm a positive person, positive Polly. But on LinkedIn, that's where the business is going down. And that's where people are taking it serious and you can book appointments and close deals.
There you go. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. Adios.